How's it going, my evil residents? Welcome to Game Theory! And today we're asking the question, which bomb was used to flatten Raccoon City? In all seriousness, we are actually going to talk about that. We are actually going to go over which bomb destroyed Raccoon City, because I think I figured it out, and I mainly used the screenshot of Resident Evil 9, the screenshot of destroyed Raccoon City. It's like the only screenshot we have of it as of when I'm making this video. Obviously, everyone knows Raccoon City was destroyed, but which specific bomb was used? I doubt you've ever wondered this. Stick around for a few minutes to find out this very useless information.
Okay.
Before we get into it, I do want to clear up a common misconception, one that I even had for quite a many years, is that lots of people think Raccoon City was nuked with like a nuke, obviously. But it's been cleared up in lore via Resident Evil 6 and presumably Resident Evil 9, since we go back there, and there's probably no radiation if we're going back there, that a thermobaric bomb was used. This is the only type of bomb that's capable of this level of destruction that doesn't give off severe radiation for decades and decades after the bomb is actually, used. These use the oxygen in the air to increase their blast radius. That is a gross oversimplification of how they work. But I'm not an expert by any means, so I'm not going to be any more specific than that. All you need to know is that they don't create any radiation. If they do, they create teensy-weensy, itty-bitty, little-bitty amounts. They mainly just create tons of heat and pressure, and that's how they destroy everything. I'm also going to go with there only being one missile, because in RE3 Nemesis, RE3 Remake, and in RE9, given that there's only one giant crater in the ground, it seems like there was just one missile used. However, I do want to acknowledge that at one point it was retconned to be at least 12 missiles in the Outbreak games. How this works with Alyssa being back, but there only being one missile, but in the game Alyssa was in, there was 12 missiles. I have no idea. Resident Evil canon is... It makes no sense sometimes. I'm just working off of the visual cues I have for a funny video. To figure out an estimate on the high damage blast radius size that would cause the flattening destruction we see in the radius of the RE9 trailer screenshot. Oh, really quick. High damage blast radius. This is the immediate range of the bomb where it would flatten or nearly destroy basically everything in that range. So like all buildings, trees, etc. Everything would be gone. This is not the entire blast radius of the bomb, that where like the pressure waves go out, where it likely wouldn't destroy buildings, but it would most likely kill any living thing that's in it still. God, bombs are terrifying. Anyway, to figure out this range, I took the average size of a city block in the US, specifically Denver, Colorado. We'll get to that later on why I picked that. And look at the image to estimate the diameter of this HDBR radius. The average city block size in Denver, Colorado is about 450 feet. The destruction radius from the image seems to be 18-ish blocks in diameter. This is basically a guess. I think it's a pretty close guess, but I will be honest here and say that this is pretty much just a guess based on me looking at the picture. It's really hard to tell exactly how many blocks it's destroyed, mostly because of the perspective, because it's at an angle, and there's no buildings in the middle because, they were bombed. This means that the heavy blast damage radius with my guesstimate and the Denver, Colorado city block size, the damage radius is about 8,100 feet, or about 1.6 miles, or about 2.5-ish kilometers. That's just a quick conversion in my head. My next step was to look up which United States thermobaric missiles with at least a 1.6 mile heavy blast damage radius were in service in 1998. Please leave a like because my search history is totally fucked by this point. I have a feeling this video is either going to get age restricted or something like that, considering I'm talking about bombs the whole time and like hundreds of thousands of people dying for the whole video. I'm going to plug my shirts. I just released these shirts. You can also get them as mugs, stickers, and pins. They're very awesome. The center artwork is by Demento Artworks, but the overall shirt was designed by me. If you want to support me directly and get an epic shirt that is not ugly, like most YouTuber merch, no shade to any specific YouTuber, I came up with 3 different options. The Minuteman 3, which was in service from 1970 to now. The Peacekeeper missile, which was in service from 1986 to 2005. And the Trident D5 missile, which was in service from 1990 to current day. All 3 of these missiles, I went out of my way to look them up separately, but they all ended up being the same. They all have the same yield, 475 kilotons, and they all have a high damaging blast radius of 2.2 kilometers, which is about similar. It's obviously higher. The 2.2 kilometers is a little bit smaller than the 1.6 miles that we talked about earlier, but this is the closest I could find. Anything else was either significantly larger or significantly smaller, and it didn't quite work. But given all these are the same basic destruction level, we're going to need to figure out a different way to figure this out anyway. Since we have it narrowed down to 3 missiles, there was one way I figured out how to do this. You had to figure out where the missiles were kept and launched from, because it's a surface-to-surface missile. It's not an air-to-surface missile. They launched it from a silo or something like that. Just, you can tell by how it's launched. It's not launched from a jet or something like that, or from the atmosphere, from a high-altitude plane. So the next step was to figure out where Raccoon City was located, and most of the legwork I did for this, I did in another video that I don't think is that great, but you can go watch it. I figured out if Mr. Beast could afford the Resident Evil Mansion, and yes, this is before Mr. Beast became annoying. So, go watch that video if you want, but it's not very good. To sum up that video, it's likely that Denver, Colorado is the next closest real-life allegory to Raccoon City, because it has a nearby mountainous region that has lots of trees. It's a large and well-built-up city that is larger in the middle and then flattens out around the outskirts of it, much like Raccoon City does. And nearby, within like 80 miles, there is this large deserty area with very low plant cover with basically nothing that you see at the end of Resident Evil 2 Remake. Colorado has this as well. Confusingly, technically, Colorado is not in the Midwest, but it seems like it's in the Midwest, and a lot of people think it's from the Midwest. I went to high school with someone from Colorado who thought it was in the Midwest, and it's not. So this is a very easy mix-up for Japanese developers to make in calling it a Midwest state, because I thought it was a Midwest state until I did the research for this. Anyway, all you need to know is that for this, I used Denver, Colorado. Raccoon City could also be in Illinois, because the mountains in Illinois are similar to how the Arclay Mountains are, but I think it's Denver, Colorado. That's what I'm using for this. So I looked up what missiles were kept in Denver, Colorado in the 90s. I couldn't find that exact information. I know the government's watching me, dude. I know the government's watching me for searching all this stuff. I just know they are. Why did I make this video? Anyway, guess which missile was kept in Colorado? That's right, it's the Minuteman III. The Minuteman III was the missile kept in Colorado, at least in 2010. I doubt they would, like, move it, because when's the last time you heard of the government, like, moving a missile? Hello. So, I'm sure this is the missile that was used. I'm almost 1,000% sure that it was the Minuteman III missile. Yeah, that's the answer. It's the Minuteman III missile. I know there wasn't much fanfare to that. We just kind of, I just kind of dropped the information, but that's what it is. That's what it is. It's the Minuteman III missile with a yield of 475 kilotons and a high damage blast radius of 2.2 kilometers. That's what was used to destroy Raccoon City. I am very confident about this. Even though I'm not an expert, and I just did some basic Googling and damage radius calculations according to nukemap.com, which is very helpful and terrifying. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the video. Yeah. If you liked it, drop a like. If you disliked it, which is very understandable, this is a very morbid video, feel free to dislike it. Just let me know why in the comments so I can make my videos as good as possible. Like I said, we do have the shirts I mentioned. $25. Can't be $25 for a shirt. Just go fucking buy one. Just go fucking buy one. I'm not asking anymore. Anyways, I do also have channel memberships, and I do want to shout out my members really quick. Shout out to all my harmless residents scrolling on the left side of the screen right now. Special shout out to my nefarious residents. One's One Up, The Epic Rager, Blaze MBZ, Valili, Matthew McCabe, Gaby515, Thunderwolf737, Berserk Llama, Firelink, Matthew Webb, Cladonaut, Maya, and Moboats. And a super mega extra special shout out to my malevolent residents of the channel, DD Teepus TTV, Aircrom Cromer, A Dark Trooper, Rosemary, and Tim Just Me Really. Yeah, that's gonna do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're excited for Resident Evil 9, let me know down below. And yeah, stay evil, my residents.